Okay, so what was the last thing you did? Oh, we fought Kale 4. Yeah, he mutated into a several times into more and more horrible forms. Until Sequel finally dispatched of him with his mighty axe blade. Um, well, we could write some new bonds if you guys have any in mind. If there's like a bond burning a hole in your pocket. Um, Otherwise, we had a chance to um, make camp. One thing that also happened is that Verinda's spell did put two cultists to sleep at the entrance of the temple. And I know we were talking possibly about making a camp, right? So you all could grab up those guys. You could make a camp outside of this place. Write some bonds. Do any other prep you want to do. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where we ended. Was ready to roll straight on forward. So what are you guys doing?
Does anyone need a rest?
I could level up if we rest.
Okay. Level
In
3
my
or level 4 already?
3.
in my opinion, if somebody camps in front of my house, I'm gonna notice it. So maybe it's not that safe to camp around here, especially because we knocked out those guys.
Yeah, we're pressed for time as well. And I wasn't. I don't think there's any. The only advanced move that is kind of like enticing me is God amidst the wastes. But I haven't. I don't think she's dedicated herself to a deity yet. She might soon, but not yet. So I don't mind just leaving my XP bar overflowing for now.
Okay. So heading into the into the temples, or into the ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we've discussed a couple of times, if I've described it, there are several bits of ruined whatever this place was before, lying around, stone and stuff that's been overgrown by grass. The entrance to the temple is it looks more like a cave at this point. It's been so weathered and worn down. There used to be a larger structure around it, but that was long ago. Now it's just sort of a doorway that leads directly to a stone stair that leads into the darkness below. But lying at that entrance currently are two unconscious cultists. They're dressed like the people from the cloister when you guys were in there. They're still dressed that way. One of them has like a knife, like a dagger, and the other one has a club, basically. They are sleeping lightly, just lying there on the ground.
Could I?
Oh, by the way, I could really use one of those healing potions.
Healing potions. All right. I got 2, so I'll give you one.
Cool. I use it, get rid of one of these fucking abilities, or do I just heal?
You can just heal XP, right? To get rid of the ability, you have to rest.
No, if you can drink a potion can get rid of a ability or heal you.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I'll heal because they'll bring it
I'd
all
like
up.
to. I think we should. Do you think we should tie these guys up as before we enter the tunnel? Like, just make sure if they wake up that they don't like tie their shoes and the drip, and it'll be funny.
Yeah, we should definitely tie them up. Plus,
Yeah.
I steal the rope of one of them and
Oh
put it on
yes,
myself.
definitely. Who's got good charisma? Who wants to wear the other robe? Philip. No. Like I'll put on. They probably won't, they're probably too big. No, are they halfling sized robes? Do they fit us even?
They're not halfling
Oh.
sized. These guys are both humans.
Okay, then me and Brandis put on these robes.
Yeah, sure.
I think hey, the robe is too big for me, so I have to stand on Philip. Kind of like we're standing on each other.
Who's
The
Philip?
robe covers them.
The goat.
Oh,
I have
okay.
4
It's
feet.
the goat.
Oh, the goat. Right.
Okay.
A weird goat centaur.
Yeah, and it's not difficult to tie these guys up. They're helpless basically. But you would need a rope. Does anybody have a rope or adventuring gear to produce one?
I have adventuring gear. Oh, I can mark one off to like just tie these guys up.
Okay.
So they don't come after us. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and there's no roll for it. They're tied up. You leave them outside. They are staying silent anyway, expecting interrogation. Right? They aren't like screaming or calling for help or anything.
And then we just leave them outside and head into the temple.
Yeah, you tie them up to a
Oh.
pillar or something.
Yeah, I was hoping that they wouldn't be awake. Do we club them in the head for leaving?
Nah, they'll be fine.
I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, we just want to make sure they don't like come out, be waiting for us when we're trying to leave, like swords or whatever.
I'm thinking of this like Tomb of Horrors type stuff, like make sure nothing, no loose strings behind.
Oh, if we're playing Tomb of Horrors, these motherfuckers would be dead.
Yeah, they're not super strong. And you can tie them up well enough that they're not gonna fucking go anywhere.
Take out my 10-foot pole and start just. Nah, I'm just kidding.
All right.
It's the trick's on you. The 10-foot pole is a mimic all along.
Yeah. I mean, I need to make a mimic dungeon where everything's a mimic at some point.
You're a mimic.
Maybe I am.
Your character. Yeah. So, you start heading into the place, and like I said, the staircase it's fairly long. It goes a long way down. It is dark down here. The next thing we would need is some source of light.
I take out a torch.
Okay. So Chris lights up the torch. And you descend this staircase. It's rough. It's been worn by weather and just the ravages of time. You slip a couple of times because some of the steps have been worn to almost nothing, and some of them crumble underneath your feet as you move. It's yeah, it feels like a really long staircase, and you've gone quite a depth. You're not sure how deep, but fairly deep, and you hear obviously some creepy sounds that get louder as you descend the staircase. Crashing noises, things that sound like scraping metals, voices screaming, and footsteps running across stones. When you
Go ahead.
When you reach the bottom of the staircase, it's sort of an entry room. Everything down here is made of stone. It was obviously once really well made, because it stood so long. It's very, very old down here, and does it? I don't. Well, I mean, it smells sort of cavernous, right? Because you're so far underground, but it's not like dripping or covered in moss or anything. It's just everything is worn and weathered. The flagstones that cover the ground are cracked. The walls themselves around are made of big stones that have cracks and have been weathered and worn, but they aren't crumbled to dust, and there isn't like dirt and mud just falling in through an area.
But is it like stone bricks, or is it like a cave type
No,
of
it's like
thing?
bricks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was definitely built. Not just carved out. And yeah, like this isn't, you aren't in a mountainous area, right? You're in the plains, so it would just be dirt, right? Except for the construction that took place eons ago. There are a few notable things in this first room. In the center of the room, this is sort of a circular room. And in the very center there's like a seal or a big stone mural or something carved that was in the center of this room. It's quite large, like it's like 10 feet in diameter. But it's been worn down and weathered. You can't really make out what it depicted when it was first carved. You can see some aspects of it. You can see like a serpent, right, or two carved on it somewhere, that you can still sort of make out these sort of serpentine creatures or shapes, and you can see waves, like water, being depicted in parts of it. But other than that, it's basically been worn to nothing. And there are two big braziers in this room, standing on the ground, and they're very large, right? They would be a chore for even the four of you to working together, right? First of all, to tear them up out of the ground. They're sort of built into the stone. And secondly, to carry it up the staircase, it would be very, very difficult. They're obviously really heavy and brassy, made of some sort of metal. They're rusted and cracked, and there's sort of ashes spilling out of one of the cracks. Some of the cracks on them, there's two of these. These two braziers seem to demarcate the two exits from this room. One exit toward the east, and one exit toward the west.
I just should we be drawing a map? Or
I mean, we could do a little simple map, sure.
cool.
We should try to differentiate between these two options.
I think I should cast the guidance cantrip to see which way we should take. I also have the unseen servant, so we can just
Yeah, just
send unseen servants everywhere.
our brave vanguard.
Do it sort of like that. Okay. So there's your circle room. And I actually Oh, it's too big. Make it smaller. Okay. There you go.
Cool.
And yeah, so like I said, two hallways, two options.
Oh, we can also see the text if this is VGM only.
Oh no, it's not.
Okay.
It's all the
Well,
stuff I
guys,
basically described to you.
I smell servants this way. Should we go? Should we go east or west?
Can you do one of the GM pings to drag us to?
Sure.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Justin, can we check the marks with the serpents?
Track the marks with the serpents?
No, check.
Oh. Yeah, you want to check like the...
Can I investigate? I mean...
Yeah, I mean... What are you trying to glean from this? What information are you trying to get?
I want to try to understand what is depicted.
Okay. Do a spout lore. That's a roll plus intelligence.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is so worn. Now you've seen signs of this kind of stuff, especially you have, Fiskpat, that there's sort of in your visions before you even came here, you saw things involving serpents and the sea. You've had visions of some sort of goddess destroying the town with a wave, a giant wave. And outside the temple there were a couple of large pillars that also had sort of a motif of some kind depicting a dancing figure playing a pipe, and there were serpents around his feet, and then also a female, a woman goddess figure floating above waves, depicted on these two pillars outside. But other than that, you're not sure what any of this has to do with anything. You've got no frame of reference here. This is all so old or alien or strange that you're not sure what to make of it.
Is Verendus gonna do the guidance thing?
Yep. I'm gonna cast the guidance cantrip to determine which way we should take. So this is what the spell reads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. I also have another really nice thing I could use. I have the hobo signs thing. Maybe.
Are you
Like casting spell.
are you casting your spell?
Oh, I have to roll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Intelligence.
Um, which way would the magic have you go? Okay, it's the visions, the magical guidance doesn't seem to prefer either direction more than the other. In fact, it gives you a sign for both. It appears that either direction is of equal importance, or they lead to the same place, or you'll have to go both ways anyway, or something like that.
Or split the party.
But yeah, what you do see is that. Oh, let me make sure I got that right. Yes. You see one direction, toward the west. You see how do I... Well, you see a serpent. It is obviously a vision of a serpent that you're seeing. It is bright blue, and it has green eyes that glow, and it crawls out from a crack in the stone, and it looks directly at you, and it turns and it slithers away to the east. To the west. And the other way, you see a bit of water trickles from the ceiling and starts to spill onto the ground. But it splashes there and then forms into a figure, like a water,
Weird.
a water what?
A water weird?
Sure, something like that. Like a vaguely humanoid figure of water, that looks at you in the eyes and then heads down the tunnel to the east.
Only Veranda sees this?
Yes, this is something only Verinda sees. It is a vision guiding, the magic guiding.
Okay, yeah, I relay that information to the group though. So,
Verindus lets you know that he's hallucinating.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna flip an imaginary coin.
So what happened with the serpent? It talked. The first serpent we saw, it talked to Fiskpat, right?
The first serpent you saw was some sort of magical emanation also, that struck the horse, but Fiskpat did see that serpent, yeah.
I don't remember how ominous the serpent was.
It seemed to be not real, and it bit a horse and killed it. And
But we couldn't find the mark of the bite.
Yeah.
Did it say anything to you? Was it like, what's up, or like, did it say anything?
No, well, we were trying to get the horse, and I was marching towards him with berries in my hands. And from nowhere, a snake came out like a big anaconda and bit him. So...
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what your deity says about snakes. Anacondas are like amphibious?
This wasn't a like species or breed of snake that Fisk had ever seen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I say we head west because that's what I rolled.
Oh, you just
Well,
rolled,
it's good for me.
is that the water?
No, that's the super urn.
Hmm. Can I? Yeah, we should. We should do some roll. We should do discern realities or something like this, to see if to.
I mean, we already learned through guidance that they're both like equally fine.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as far as the magical guidance, there's really nothing else to discern from this room.
All right. Yeah, let's start walking towards the snake.
Okay. So you head down the western tunnel, and the tunnel's sort of it's bending, it's turning, in the same direction constantly. So it's sort of making a circular type move. And eventually you do come to a larger room. The hallway is pretty much in the same shape as the entry. It is rough from weather and time. You can see that there is dirt along the floor that has been tracked in by footsteps from above. And after a long curvature in the hallway, it opens up into a room that looks very different. It's a wonky, poorly drawn line. Okay. It's actually squared off in here. And the stones in this room, they look better than the others, right? There's a clearly like sort of a line between the hallway, the conditions of the hallway and the conditions of this room. There isn't a doorway or anything. It's completely open, and it's not as if something's been ripped off the hinges. But the stones, they're definitely still show wear, and they're old, but they aren't like crumbling like the others. They are. It's a bit eerie, right? You don't sense any magic or anything like that would have turned this place so foul, that would have preserved this place. But there is something. It's as if people have avoided coming here. The footsteps, the dirt doesn't drag in as far in this room, or there's not as much dirt. And in this square room, you see in the center of it, there is, just at the edge of your torchlight, there is a pedestal or an altar in the middle. And like on that pillar outside, there is a carving in it and a figure around the base of the pedestal. There are snakes coiled around it, and there is a dancing figure on like each of the cardinal directions, the same figure dancing, holding a flute, as if dancing above snakes, or charming these snakes or something. The other thing you can see at the edge of your torchlight is that there is in the eastern wall of this room. So put a little pedestal here. There is a door, a big door. and it is made of brass. It is not rusted. It is not cracked. It is actually shining in the light of your torch. Even at the edge, it shines brightly. But it is shut, and it looks tight. What do you guys do?
I wonder why they avoided this area. I say out loud.
Do we see anything on the floor?
Not really on the floor. No, just examining the floor in front of you. You can't see all the way across the room because of the limits of the torchlight. But right in front of the entrance of the hallway, there's nothing of note on the floor. No.
So only stones.
Yeah, just stone.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I guess we should go and check out the rest of the room. I don't know. I don't want to fuck with that door right now.
Is the door and the altar all that's in the room entirely?
So if you come into the room, as you get closer toward the center of it, you can see that there is another hallway that leads out through the north side.
And in here, we're like creating the first footsteps that probably have been here for a long time, right?
It seems like there's been some traffic through here, but not very much.
I think people just ignore it.
Yeah. Maybe we should just head on and like come back later.
I want to use discern realities.
Where are you checking around? What are you looking for?
I want to check the door, and with Harbor Science, I can ask how could I gain access to what is secret here. So that's the question I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah, let's roll discern realities first.
Which stat is that? Is that intelligence also?
It's wisdom.
Wisdom.
Okay. Okay. So, how could I gain access to what is secret here? Yeah, sure. Your senses sort of tingle at this door, Verindus. As you get close to it and start looking at it, it looks blank and simple, but like I said, it's very bright, and it looks much more. It is the most well kept thing you've seen in this place. The metal is still shining and fresh, and as you get closer to it, you start to hear a sound. A sound like a crying, like a baby crying. And you think you hear it just barely muffled by this door. And you can tell that there is a well, the door is heavy, but it's not magically sealed. It could be forced open. But it would take a lot of effort. The next thing you notice as you're standing there next to this door, and your eyes are sort of drawn up, as like a sprinkling of dust sort of hits you on top of the head, and your eyes are drawn up as everyone is moving like they're in the center of the room and moving around and past the altar. Your eyes are drawn up, and on the ceiling, carved into the stone, are the shapes of gigantic serpents. And one of them is prying itself loose from the ceiling.
Uh-oh. Roll for initiative.
And yeah, what is it gonna do? There's 6 here.
I crit.
Yeah. It fucking explodes into gold.
Yeah, no, yeah, and all of a sudden this serpent, it bends down and it's prying itself loose from the ceiling, and its body drops down from the ceiling. And you all see now this massive stone serpent falling from the ceiling, and it wraps around Verindis. It's big. It's like 20 feet long. It's made of stone. And you can see the ceiling is covered in carvings of these great stone serpents. And the thing lands sort of just around Verindis, and Verindis like disappears as this thing is like swirling and swooping around, coiling around Verindis. What does everybody else do?
Oh man, I could grab like an oil from my adventure gear and like lube him up so he can slip out of there.
Yeah, that'd be good. Could we take a break before the combat? Because I really need to use the bathroom. It's only been like 5 minutes. I don't want to.
Sure, we can take a break here. Yeah, we'll go long in the second part.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's take a break.